Jeez, oh, Pete. Well, welcome back. New podcast. BDP episode 37 or something. I don't know how many episodes. But the good news is that we got some new additions to the pod studio. Look at this freaking butte over here. You know, temporary spot. But I'm jacked up on it. Super jacked up on it. Joey, cheers, bud. We got these. So, story behind these ciders. We were at a event, sitting in the bow and arrow shop booth, and the girl next to us was running the bivouac cider booth. Mm-hmm. And I got to chatting with her. Got Brianna a possible job lead, which is great. And we go to leave, right? And I go, hey, can I grab a couple of those to take home? She goes, do you just want to take a whole case? And I go, huh? She goes, you want to just take a whole case home? I go, oh, yeah. Yeah. So, of course, I walked to the car with a whole case. So, shout out to Bivouac.
I think your inquiry on bringing a couple home was a little bit less understandable than how you made it seem right there. But
yeah. Yeah, it was a little more...
Slurs?
Yeah, confusing.
Couple more slurs.
I will say, I'm having a lot of sober days this year where 0 beverages. But at a party, I'm still, of course, I'm still down to party. So that day, I had been on the wagon for a while and just went after it. And then she offers free ciders and just lead the horse to water, why don't you? So I ended up getting just a little bit saucy, nothing crazy.
Couple on the wagon for a while. 3 days. 3 days.
Hey, it's not bad.
Dude, PA was so much fun.
So we do have a guest, Joey. He probably gives me a run for my money as the group degenerate. It's either me or him, but I think he might have me.
I think I take that cake.
I think you do. Fan favorite. Ooh, we gotta turn my light on. Reach over. You know what? It's not even in the shot. It's not in the shot. Never mind. You could still flip it on, though. But anyway, a kid made me... There's a little switch.
Gotcha.
A little button you press.
So let's talk about Joey. So Joey been, I don't know, probably in a half dozen videos at this point on the channel, if not more. So, somewhat channel regular, but
he's clearly made an impact.
Big time.
Someone wanted to take a picture.
Oh, for sure. Well, great story. We'll get to that. But PA was your first tack, right?
Yep.
And Brianna had a great idea of having a first-time tack shooter on the pod. So,
and it's so much more than that, because it's not just his first tack, but it's that, correct me if I'm wrong, is that your first also 3D shoot out of state as well?
Yeah.
Wow.
So, I mean, quite a few
different things.
Quite a few firsts, but why don't you tell me, you kind of got put in the game late. You were basically a pinch hitter on the trip, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
One of the guys went on the injured list, and we needed a fill-in. So you...
You sound making him sound like such ass.
No, I'm not. So with 2 weeks left, you just freaking said, yeah, I'll do it, which is a bold move.
Yeah.
So what was your initial...
You made a lot of bold moves that weekend.
To add on to that, though, before the tax season even started, I did mention to you, hey, if you have any openings, let me know. I'll hop on. Absolutely. Given back then I was employed, had a good job before I got fired.
So we got 2 people on the couch on the job hunt right now.
Yeah, 2 jobless people. At least he makes money on the side right now.
Yeah. I just don't I do not want to go back working for myself. It's just too much foot manual labor and trying to grow this gut out,
Yeah.
You got to get the dad bod really going,
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
So
I got the shade style guy.
Oh, yeah. I was saying that at the party.
You set a New Balance to the snacks.
At the party this weekend, all 3 of us had the really cool, we looked so cool. All of us just glasses hanging.
Yeah, we had a real variety.
Yours were hanging on by barbed wire.
I know.
I know how you do it.
That's badass. So tell me what your thoughts were when you got the call and you said, yeah, put me in, coach. What were you kind of thinking?
Well, the first thing was, how the hell am I going to pay for this?
Yeah.
But, so Brooke actually ended up, I talked to Brooks, asked her if it was something that we could make work, because at the time we didn't have the coffee trailer open full time at Pernicanos. So I'm usually the taxi. I'll drive it to and from events, and she had a few events like booked for that week. But once we opened the coffee trailer up full time, it was had to put it on cinder blocks. I'm like, unless it's for a specific dollar amount, I'm not going to be throwing tires on and off to haul that thing to and from. This too much work. But so she decided that she wanted to keep it stationary and just in its permanent location. And I told her about the offer for the shoot. She told me to send her the flight details, and so she ended up paying for my ticket. Shout out to my sugar mama.
Nice. I love it, dude. I love it.
So that was a real cool surprise or / gift that she gave me. It was kind of like a thank you for taxiing her to and from her events, dude. She's been killing it with coffee events.
She killed it at BD3, baby.
Yeah. I mean, everybody that tries her coffee, I mean, you tell me if I'm wrong, but they're just...
It's delicious.
Once you go black, you never go back, baby.
I do love black coffee.
Espresso blend's fire.
I do.
I don't know, this blueberry one right now.
Was it good?
It's so good.
Why don't you do it?
If this isn't on the menu, she needs to add it to the menu.
So she made like a TikTok or Instagram reel, posted it while we were in Pennsylvania. I showed you, and I'm like, dude, this just looks so good.
It's delicious. So she needs to get like a board that she could like, if she's ever like trying out new things or whatever, and it's not on the main like menu thing that like people can see, so they know what like creative new options are currently, if it's ever like something that's not on the menu but it's like, I could make this right now, I got the supplies in the trailer or something, that they could also see it. Like, there's a lot of people, like, you get like 3 things at a coffee shop. Either it's on the menu, or you're a coffee connoisseur and you've got your own concoction that you can just spout off, and usually a shop can make it. Or 3, because coffee people are creative, they usually have some drinks that they know but are not on their menu. It's like a secret menu almost. Or just a sign that says, like, ask about the secret menu. And that way, if it's not something that, like, she makes all the time, they have an option to, like, ask what's available. Because...
Dude, she's like the Walter White of coffee.
Easy call.
It's insane. But to get back on track,
coffee is so hard.
It is.
But shout out to Brooke's Cafe.
Brooke's Cafe. It's at Pernicanos.
It's
how do you say the word?
It's Pernicanos Italian restaurant. Oh. So if you're a local, it's right across from the El Cajon Ford dealership. Best coffee you'll have, and I mean
1000%.
Everybody falls in love with her when they meet her.
Oh, I love her
she's
so
just
much.
The sweetest, most genuine person that freaking walks the face of this earth. Sorry,
she is. So, anyways, back to Sugar Baby Mama.
Sugar Baby Mama.
She is a Sugar Baby Mama right now. So, all of those things.
No spoiler alerts, but
yeah. So, she gifts you a flight.
Gives me a flight. Decided to send it. Show up with Scott, James, Bree, her sister Brittany, and then I'm told I'm going to be rooming with the one and only MFJJ. I never met the guy before. I mean, other than like just saying what's up in the Photocycle shoots.
Well, and it went from like supposed to be 4 dudes in that room to like just you.
So we had a very intimate night together the first night.
Nice.
Not intimate enough for him to remember my name, but...
That's funny. I always, sometimes like, should I put my ear to the door and see if they're like, having little fireside chats in their room at night from across the bunks, or like...
I do love a little,
so much room for activities.
I do love a bedtime chat with a pal when you're like sharing a room and you're like...
I know, you're there.
what a nice day. You're just going back and forth.
Oh, so I heard he says that he snores, but I've never heard it. So
It's not that bad.
It's not that bad.
Dude,
Okay.
not like James's guttural freaking. Dude, that was like coming from the depths of like Valhalla or something. It was insane. That last night in Pittsburgh.
Oh, yeah.
That's
dude.
bad.
Breland kept warning me or threatening me not to.
I said I'm gonna
Get
put him
drunk.
in your bed. It's your call. If you get him too lit, like he is yours for the night. It
Well,
won't save me much, but at least get it more than like 2 feet from my ear.
With that being said, if anyone who watches the show happens to work for a CPAP company,
Yeah.
go ahead and reach out and let's get me cooking. I would love it. So that would be sick. Another theme. We're jumping back and forth, but I'm gonna flash forward a little bit. We kind of, we got on a kick on the trip about Jaeger bombs, Jaeger bombs, Jaeger bombs, Jaeger bombs, and we ended up having quite a few Jaeger bombs.
I haven't had them since I think that video originally surfaced back in 2012
No, it
or
was like-
2013.
No,
I think it said.
It was like 07.
Yeah.
Because that was a re-upload. The original was like 07, 08, like one of the first videos on YouTube.
Yeah, my new haircut. If you guys don't know what we're talking about,
classic.
go on YouTube and look up my new haircut, and it's this total freaking full bag Guido dude from like Jersey or something that just absolutely broke the internet when that thing came out.
yeah.
That and drinking out of cups. Do you remember that video?
I don't think I've seen that one.
Drinking out of cups.
No.
It's the lizard that it's like this dude made it when he was tripping on acid or something, and he just like does a voiceover for this like real almost like claymation video of this gecko. It was, what are you, the fucking tree meister? He goes, oh, Mr. Walkway, Mr. Lead me to the building. It's just, if you know what I'm talking about,
YouTube
it's so
originates
funny.
somewhere in the ghetto of like the northeastern like cities or something. Why does all of these very original like OG
I
YouTubes
cannot
come
believe
from apparently like
The
cities
East Coast?
with real strong accents?
Yeah, it's all like real heavy like New York accents, but I cannot believe you guys haven't seen that.
No, I
video.
have not.
I need to
seen
watch
that
it.
one.
Absolutely.
So anyway, we get there. You find out, you're rooming with Josh.
Wait, why did you bring up the Jaeger pops? Was that just a fun fact? Or-
It was about the snoring story. That the Jaeger bombs kind of
That's
led
basically what.
Oh,
top
it
the
doesn't
night
lead
off.
to your
Starts the
snoring,
night-
but it
nightcap.
definitely,
It
enhances it.
puts a little fuel on the fire.
Yeah.
Do it.
It's there regardless.
You're lucky you
Just so
didn't
you
join me with the Rumplemint shots, dude. When I get hammered, I just pound those things.
What's
Freaking-
this? A Ruppelman?
It's like a peppermint patty shot, but it's
It actually-
100%.
It
It is
sounds delicious.
so
It
good.
actually smelled great. I did sniff it, and I might have even given it a sip at that one place.
Yeah, it was. Oh man.
I love Pittsburgh. On a side note, I really like Pittsburgh.
I like the architecture, the, I guess, community, if you will, is kind of disappointing given how historic that city is and how kind of woke the culture's
Such a
just
story.
been overtaken by woke culture. Like seeing those churches from like the early 1800s just littered with pride flags is it's just disrespectful. I mean, I'm a huge Christian, so see
I
that
just thought
stuff
you
and
just
it's
got baptized. Yeah,
just
yeah,
got
very
baptized
exciting. You beat
yesterday.
James to it.
At this point, I'm gonna wait to do it with James Jr. one day.
James
Oh,
Jr.
geez,
You know, so yeah, but yeah. So we show up. You find a roommate, and we're shooting the next day at I believe it was 2:30.
Yeah.
Yep.
So we're slated to shoot Jack Links, okay? Now we pull up at 10 to do a little practice shooting, sign in, things like that on a Thursday, because that's a 4-day shoot. So we show up Thursday. What was your first impression of parking, walking into the vendor village, all that stuff, the check-in, like just kind of get
The
me
event
your,
itself.
yeah, give me a little summation.
Vendor
of your-
village.
Well, the vendor, we pull up and was the parking lot full the first? No, we were like the ass end of the parking the first day. Every other day besides last day. Anyways, get the ass end of the parking and I look down and see all these booths and trailers set up and I'm like, dude, these are all companies that I've like been like interested in their products, but it's you can't really get a look at them online. You know, you just have a picture. You can't hold it in your hands. You know, you can't meet the people behind the product. So as soon as I saw all that, dude, I felt like a kid at Disneyland, and I told Brooke the same thing. I'm like, dude, this is like the happiest place on earth for me, and it like just filled with excitement to walk in there, and I'm walking in with like legends, you know, like you're a huge. You and Josh had equally the same amount of interactions. I mean, and it's cool to see because before we were friends, I was a fan and met you at BDC2 officially. And our friendship kind of
podcast.
I think we met.
I was fondling those.
I think the first time we actually met was at Alpine. I thought. Did we do a shoot
first
at
time
Alpine?
I met you was at not this last flying pig, but the flying pig before. That was the first time I saw you in person. Because I've only been shooting for like about 2.5 years, but as soon as I started shooting, I was just I like to tinker. If I get really involved in a hobby, I like to know the ins and outs of it. I like to freaking experiment and whatnot. So I hop on YouTube. Like when I started working for myself, that's how I taught myself how to do all the remodeling I did. Was mainly through YouTube.
YouTube University.
Better than college. So
Facts.
I come across your videos and exactly how you kind of brand yourself. You're the fun, like your videos are the fun of archery. Because I had no idea what archery was. You know, I'm shooting 15 yards in my backyard with my bow, and I'm freaking. I think, oh, dude, I'm so good at this. I got a group like this, freaking at 15 yards, and then I go make it a little bit longer of a range at like 40, and I can't even hit the target half the time. So like, it's just such a humbling sport. But yeah. So like I said, I was a fan of yours before we became friends. So walking in, it just felt super surreal to be side by side with two people that I've been watching since I got into the sport.
Yeah.
And seeing the interaction, like, it was really cool. And like I told you, I don't know how you keep such a humble personality. You're just a humble papa, sir.
Dude, he says the best humble popper in the video coming out Wednesday. But yeah, was that like was that kind of surprising to you, the amount of people that would like come up to me and Josh? Like, were you expecting that, or did that like catch you off guard a little?
I mean, I knew it was going to be present. I had no idea to the extent that it actually was. And dude, like, you guys just absolutely spoiled me, and I can't thank you guys enough for even having me on that trip.
No, dude, you're a treat to have.
Well, we've never stayed anywhere overnight, you know, so it's like, all right, you guys are rolling the dice on this guy. Freaking, we're gonna be living together for the next almost week.
Because we added days at the end to vacation a little bit. Which, I got so much shit I want to get to. So let's jump into. There's a part I'm definitely not missing in this pod that I'm gonna get to, but I definitely so I remember like my first tack ever in 2019, right? And I remember showing up to the first shooting cone. I remember the target like yesterday. I remember the shot. And I show up and I remember for some reason just being so nervous. Like, people are around. You know what I mean? It's like, oh my God, there's like people everywhere. And then I shoot at, I think it was a panther target at like, it was far. It was like 80. It was like 80 yards or something, right? And I just farm it, shoot over it, right? First target ever at attack, I'm pretty sure I missed, if I remember correctly. And what happened was, at the time, and this is why I recommend tack so much for people, especially the ones at higher elevation, I learned in that trip that, like, I need to cut a bunch of yardage at 10,000 feet. And I didn't know that. Yeah. So, like, at 80 yards, I didn't really miss the shot, but my arrow was this much higher than normal because of the elevation. And you don't get that in Pennsylvania or Oklahoma or some of these other ones. But that's the really cool part about doing your Montanas, your Utahs, your Colorados, because it helps to teach you about elevation a lot and just about your shooting overall. So that's another reason I really like the events.
What was elevation? Where was your first tech at?
Was it called
Park City.
Park City, and the elevation you said was like 10,000.
Probably almost 10, like it's somewhere between 8 and 10.
Yeah, and
Made a huge difference. And now, of course, I know that. And with shout out to Precision Cut again, you can just dial that into your tape.
incredible. I've sat there and just messed around just to see the difference between like sea level, 1,000 feet, freaking 3,000 feet, and there really isn't a difference until you hit about 5,000, 5 to 6.
Yeah.
Once you get to like 8, like if you're going from 3,000 feet to 6,000 feet, I mean, you might see like a yard or two difference at like 110 yards. Because I've printed out the sight tapes and sat them right next to each other just to see the difference. Because on the computer screen, it looks like a significant difference, but that when you click between the two, but then when you put them side by side and they're actually the scale, it's like half a yard. But once you get to like 8,000 feet, then you start seeing that difference change around like about 40 to 50 yards.
Oh yeah, yeah,
So,
yeah. And then by the time you're at 100, it could be 4 yards.
yeah,
So
so
a lot.
when we went to Colorado for that, I printed out Drew and mine sight tapes for, I think I printed them out for like 12 or 13,000 feet. The highest elevation we were at was 15.5. And the sight tape that I had on my bow was for Laguna, which was like, I had it set at like 5,500 feet. And I forgot my sight tapes at the house. I was looking for them everywhere, couldn't find them. And Drew had his, but I ended up freaking getting a shot opportunity on an elk for the first time and sailed it over his back. So I'm gonna blame it on not having the correct sight tape.
It's not nerves or anything.
Bro, it wasn't shooting for 40 yards when he was actually at 28 yards. It was a sight tape.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay, so anyway, the reason I wanted to tell my story is because I remember that anxiety and nerves of my first target ever at attack. So I want to know, you're already a shaky bastard.
You don't want to know. You already know.
Tell me when we pull up to that Sasquatch shot, our very first shot ever on an
It's
attack
the
course for
Sasquatch,
you,
yeah.
and it's Jack Link's, right? What were you pretty nervous to pull it back and rip it?
Dude,
Or
I was nervous the entire time I was shooting.
Yeah.
Like, I'm pretty comfortable shooting with you now, with you and Bree, but shooting with Jeff's a friggin' ringer. Josh is a friggin' legend, you know, he's a hell of a shooter. And I shoot, I think, second or third. You go up, I think Brittany or Bree shoots, and then I go up, and I mirrored your shot. You hit it, left nipple? I hit it right nipple. And I was like, thank God I hit the target. Let alone freaking basically the same shot James had, just mirrored. So I was like, all right, relief. And we pull up, dude, I mean, I think it's on Josh's channel, his video, that it was either a video or a short that they put out, but I hand Scott my phone I'm showing him the Mantis X10, my shot tracker. Mm-hmm. It shows like your stability and scores you accordingly. And I've never like scored like lower than like 80, 89, I want to say for it. No, I'll say 86 is probably like my worst score I've ever had on that. Dude, this thing had to have been like a 62. Like I didn't see the shot record, but when I saw the short on YouTube, Dodds is filming his phone screen, or my phone screen, when Scott's holding the phone, and this thing's going like, and this is holding, like, usually like it moves around and then you drop back and you see it drop in and then you see the pin just settle and like it'll move like kind of like real slowly. Mine looked like freaking 10 or 9.7 on the Richter scale, dude. It was like and then breaks, you know, it was a freaking absolute spaz and a half. And that was the energy I had like the entire freaking weekend. Because it wasn't like, all right, first time shooting with this group, get through the first course. All right, nerves settle. Nope, it's freaking second courses with a whole new group of guys that are freaking legends in the industry. And so the nerves were just peaked the entire time, dude. I was in bed for 2 days after that tack, getting back, just recovering.
You were smoked. I could see by the time we were at the ball game, I was like, this dude is smoked right now. And we were all smoked, but yeah, so, okay, so let's think about it. So we shot Jack Links, then we shot RMEF our second time.
Ultra View, no?
Oh, Ultra View.
Oh, yeah.
Ultra View and then RMEF. And then Prime.
And then Prime. So we shot 4 courses. Which course would you say was your favorite of the 4 that we did?
As far as technical shots go, so I'm a huge fan of the window shots. Like, the tighter the shot, like, I like it if I have, like, a 10% chance of making that window shot, you know? Like, I just love those super challenging, difficult, like, if you hit the target, it's impressive shots, you know? I think Ultra View had the most of those. And on top of that is pouring rain. Oh, luckily, we didn't get the brunt of it because we were under a pretty thick canopy, but we still got soaked.
Oh, yeah.
That was probably my favorite. I was probably the least nervous there because I was around mostly friends, and then Jeff, who I met for the first time this weekend. I thought I was friends with him. Like, I listened to one of his podcasts, and, like, I knew the guy, and I could have swore that I, like, met him at, like, one of your shoots or something.
Oh, really?
Well, what's up, dude? How you been? And he goes, good. I was like, you remember me? He goes, no. I was all, didn't I meet you somewhere? He goes, no.
Shout out to Jeff, folks. Jeff is a really, really cool guy. I had a lot of fun shooting with him. Yeah, my favorite course, shit, man. I mean, to be honest, I thought Prime was a lot, I thought all of them were fun, but I thought the Elk one was actually pretty cool.
That's my second.
I really like the Elk course. I think there's something to a 15 target course that I just love. And that's why some of these changes that we're going to be making for the challenge next year, like, I'm excited for, because 25 or 20 is fine, but I really think the sweet spot for a course length is somewhere between 15 and 20 targets, in my opinion. I think that's perfect.
If they're gapped out enough, yeah, so you get some, like, scenic walks and stuff.
Oh, sure,
in there,
yeah.
I think that's what makes it good. If it's a quick, short 15, then I'm like, oh, I wish, there could have been more. But when you get those walks that are creative, whether you're, like, going around rocks or up steep, cliffy things or stuff like that, I think that can make a short course great. I still loved the Prime course, but I think it's because it was the most similar. I love the technical courses. Those are my favorite. Did you feel like just standing up, Taters, or you undecided on things in life right now?
Yeah, he's getting too cozy. He's about to fall asleep.
He's going to get antsy here soon. He'll jump down. He'll pace around, come stare at people. There you go.
He's a good look, too.
He's a sweetheart. But I like the Prime one just because it was the best experience you got to like the mountain courses, like that's most relatable, still on a minute scale, but most relatable to some of the bigger courses you see at Utah and Montana that really like utilize the mountain. They just don't have the type of mountains that Utah and Montana have, but...
Well, they found, like, the biggest hill in Pennsylvania, and you shoot down it, like, that one shot, the one where it's basically a drop-off.
Oh, the bison.
The bison. You shoot down it, and I think that was, like, a 104, 105-yard shot. Go down. Wasn't a pull and return, but then you go immediately to the right, and then you're just shooting up that same mountain. It's all pull and returns. It seemed like they really used a lot of, or utilized that mountain to get you.
Yeah. I was so happy when we realized that, that you didn't have to go back up and over, because I knew we came from the other side of that mountain, so I was like, there's no way.
Well,
they can't make you do this for 3 more targets. Like, that's all that's left. Are we serious? But then we realized you pie cut the side of the mountain.
I really liked the Prime course a lot, but what I thought was kind of fun is normally when I shoot any 3D course, I'm, indexing the targets, I'm, scoring, We did score it, but ahead of time we said, hey, we had a huge group. There was 12 of us in the group, and we were the last ones. We weren't holding anyone up, and in fact, we were actually pushing a group of 2, which was very impressive. But part of the efficiency was Scott and I had agreed prior. We said, hey, we'll score, but we're just using one range. So, like, one of us ranges it, and people just shoot off it, and no indexing. So we were literally just range, shoot, range, shoot. So, like, and I learned that you can do that, like, off memory. You can do it somewhat. It definitely is going to reduce your score some, for sure. But we didn't care. We're like, well, let's just try to hustle and have fun. So we're like just banging targets. And it was actually pretty fun to do it that way. Because normally, you know, it's like, okay, the 12's there. And then like you're taking time and then shooting. This was just so nonchalant.
Yeah, a lot of mystery and even more of a sense of challenge to it.
Yeah,
I didn't go along with that by any means.
Yeah, you were indexing, but my point is I had a lot of fun doing that with Scott, and I think, did you index or no?
No, I don't think I whipped my binos out. If I did, maybe like one time, but I don't think I whipped them out a single time. I did range a couple of times on my own, just for some comparison. But
yeah, I thought that was a fun way to do it. And then another thing I thought was fun about the trip was how we kind of mixed up the groups each day. So like we always shot with different groups. So we shot with our home team plus Jeff the first day. Mm-hmm. The second day we broke into 2 groups and shot. And then the third day we shot with the guys from Adam's Precision Archery on elk course, and that was a lot of fun. They were real nervous.
We did 5 courses because we did 2 the last day. We did Loophole.
That's right. That's right.
We did
That's right. And Loophole might have been my favorite. We just had our freaking group of 5.
That was so much fun.
Yeah.
The video concept was great. It was a lot of fun.
Sometimes those are always fun when it's just like the main group that we're like staying with. And
I can't wait to see that clip come out of you interviewing Brittany. And so you worried about...
I made a short out of it.
Are you worried about him hitting a 12? She goes, not at all.
Yeah, and then you drain it and you
just... Something about landing on it.
But so you said you were, a little bit nervous the whole time.
No, a lot of bit nervous.
But somewhat because of the people you were shooting with. So shooting with Josh and shooting with Jeff. So then the last day we throw him in with Josh Bomar.
Dude, what a guy, dude.
Was the best guy, but I'm saying, were you like, God damn it, I thought I was going to get a mellow day to not be so goddamn nervous.
At that point, I was
You were kind of used to it by then a little bit.
I think my body was just... I was shaking so much the past 2 days that my body's all, well, I mean, yeah, you're nervous, but you're not going to shake as bad. And plus, I did switch, I shot my...
you shot the hinge.
Well. And that was a crazy change, freaking in the middle of tack. But,
you changed on the elk course.
So, I changed on the Ultra View course. I shot, first shoot at the Jack Lane's course, I shot my UV button, and... Dude, just punching the hell out of it. I was like I would go into the shot mentally, like preparing myself. Dude, just go through the motions. Don't punch the trigger. But I had so much float. Like I've only been shooting the Proven 34 for like a week, so I didn't have like it all balanced or anything. I definitely needed to add weight, which I did the last day, which helped significantly. But my float was just so drastic that like as soon as I held on that target for more than like half a second, I was like, fuck it, Yeah. Would just punch it, and then I switched to the clicker because I brought this. Oh man, dude!
I was about to give a count real quick for the camera.
So I have my main one was the UV button, the heavy metal one. I had in my arsenal. The Knock On 2 special, which was like the limited edition release. I didn't shoot that the weekend, but I brought it with me. Oh, it's a little 2-finger Carter that Dudley did a collab with. I had the Stan Onyx thumb, clicker, and resistance. I only shot the clicker. And then I ended up buying the Evolution Outdoors Ibex hinge, which is a hell of a release, man. I love that freaking thing.
We're at 6 releases.
I only shot 3 though.
So you brought 6, one of which I brought to you, right?
Yeah, you brought the thumb.
one of which you bought. You shot 3. You shot your button, your UV button, your clicker, and the hinge. And 4 if we count you shooting...
Oh, 5 if we count Bomars. I shot his reverse thumb prototype, which is... Dude, you guys are gonna love it.
I don't know if... I think he takes the prize, the trophy, for the only person ever to go through that many releases in one...
Well, so my favorite...
I almost brought my freaking Carter RX-1 index release too.
Can we pause for a second and take a look at this?
I just took a video. He looks ridiculous.
This is insane.
But so my favorite Joey moment of the weekend.
Oh, here we go.
I just loved it. So we're on the elk course, and we had this fun concept where you got a bonus ball, and the bonus ball had a wrap on the front of the arrow, and it's worth double. So I had been saving mine deep into the round because I knew that me and my partner had a lead. We were shooting strong.
Yeah.
I knew we were dialed. Mm-hmm. But a shot finally got, and he's the only one left. Me and him have a bonus ball. It was like a 30-yard uphill mini elk. It's like, at the very worst, I should 10 this. Hopefully 10 it. Or 12 it. So I go up first, bang a 12, right? So I'm like, okay, I just got a 12 with my bonus ball, which is 24 points. That's great. Joey goes, all right. He puts on Hell's Bells.
Whips out the fun, plays Hell's Bells.
Steps up to the cone, throws his phone. He had just switched to the hinge, I think maybe one target prior, but this was uphill, right?
Yeah, I shot a hand.
So he draws into this, and I'm filming. I happen to be vlogging it, so I have all this documented. It's great. He pulls back, and he's holding. Everyone's just
somewhere in the middle of it.
And then all of a sudden,
some mental support that you keep pulling through.
And his bow is moving like so much, and I'm feeling. I just start busting up laughing. I can't contain it. So like everyone starts laughing,
which made it worse, by the way.
Finally, his bow goes off, and he did 10 it. He shot a 10.
By the grace of God. Thank you, Jesus.
And everyone in the bunch just lost it. It was so funny.
I shit you not.
That was
I've only thrown or shot my release through my bow once in Alpine with you.
Yeah.
I don't know how the hell that happened to this day. But I was holding my breath for at least 45 seconds, dude. I'm pretty sure if you look hard enough, my face starts to turn purple or something. I'm pushing in, pulling, and I'm waiting for the click. The click hits, and that's when I start just shaking because it scared the piss out of me, dude. I was like, oh, okay. And then I just keep pulling, and then I try to punch it, but I didn't know how to punch a hinge because I've only shot a hinge like 5 times prior to that.
Difficult too.
And I'm like at freaking 50 seconds holding my breath at this point, and I almost just let go of the release. So I was like, fuck it, dude.
But I think my favorite was, so you shot at the remainder of that course, I think, and then the next day we went out on the loophole course in the morning. And my favorite's also in that clip where Brittany tries to shit talk you and gets proven wrong, is the very beginning of the interview, and it's just you in the background, like, you know, they're interviewing whatnot, you're getting prepped for your shot, and you're just like, you literally test your arm, you're like, okay, we're good. You're making sure you're not gonna hit that. Like, he's got this whole process going on now to make sure that his arm's going to be okay, you know, for this hinge.
I didn't want to knock anybody out. If I hit him like I hit my button, they would have been freaking sluts.
And then there was one point, I don't know if it got captured on camera or not, where they were too close, and you literally advised them, like, something like, you guys might need to back up because my arm flies back now.
The only thing I do is surprise breaks now, so...
Well,
my follow through, I felt it.
It was cool.
I felt pretty steezy doing that.
You were steezy. So, okay, so let me hop back into it. So, day 4, shooting with the friggin' our massive bunch. Shout out to, this is going to be a list of shout outs here, but shout out to the Hunter Podcast guys.
Well, that's two.
Bomar, Sarah, David, friggin' David is an unbelievable shooter.
That guy, and he's so calm.
He makes me look like trash.
That's how good talk.
He's so good.
Falls that good, he's talking shit.
Oh no, he does talk shit. Oh boy, he talks shit, and I love it. He's such a nasty boy. But David's so impressed. Just that whole group was so fun. And Micah Morgan, dude, we got to talk about how efficient that guy is at filming.
You don't even know he's there.
You don't even know. He's like a spider monkey.
He's a little ninja.
He's a ninja. Yeah, he's insane. I told him that. I was like, you're
he was getting out the Ember camera, and he's probably only like 15 feet behind me, with the bag on the ground, gets the camera out, I see him stand up. I look away for, couldn't have been 2 seconds maximum, probably a second. And I turn back, and all of a sudden, he's 30 yards back. I was like, how did you do that?
Silent,
and no sound made whatsoever. He just must have backed up, on his toes, and must have, done the Michael Jackson sliding backwards.
The moonwalk.
And the moonwalk, and disappeared 30 yards back. Yeah. And I was like, how did you have the time to get back there?
That was his first time filming for Bowmore.
Yeah.
So that guy's freaking, on it. He's all, dude, and I don't think anybody could make a better first impression.
He was so impressive. I told him, I was like, dude, I'm just very impressed with your efficiency.
I do not want to know what his day rate is.
So that was awesome. Filming with him was awesome. Our huge group photo was so badass. I love our group photo.
Hard.
It's so hard.
So hard.
And, it was awesome. So I think, I think to sum it up, I think you came to a really good first tack. You did get thrown into a lot of situations that most people don't get thrown into, and I thought you handled it really well, and had a freaking great time. So it was awesome, dude.
So how?
Oh, even the one freaking.
Yeah, we can't tell that story, but it is. Yeah, he was a nesty boy one time.
Oh yeah.
It was the only time you're like, oh shit,
oh jeez, oh Pete,
and it turned out
it was fine. Yeah, it was totally fine. That was freaking hilarious.
And then at the end of the prom course.
Yeah.
Mr. Josh Bomar let me friggin' stroke his 90.
Tell me about that.
Dude. I had to have been, you showed me that video of Micah stroking it like nothing. It looked like a 60-pound buck. I had to have been just friggin' spent, because...
Well, you were also trying to draw it uphill, a steep hill.
That's a factor.
We were only 20 yards away from that.
Yeah, but still,
it's still an incline the whole way. It didn't peter out to a plateau at any point. So the most plateau you might have had was right around the target where people had been, pounded in ground and pulling arrows all weekend. But
and that was after the last target of the entire trip, and I could my endurance I thought was pretty good, so I didn't think that it was muscle fatigue. But after seeing Micah do it and how my shoulders felt as soon as I got on that bus, just the whole my front hand, my delt was just on fire. I did some freaking burnout workout on my delts. I was like, dude, so twice. But
let me ask you. So you said the vendors was Disneyland. You liked all the shooting courses, although I do think the Beast course at BD Challenge was probably stronger than all the courses.
It's not even questionable.
It was so good. Beast was insane. And so was Podium, actually. And Tricer, just in different ways.
All of them.
They
all are technical.
The difference is we only have to do one event a year. So, we can really dump all the time into making the shots, so epic. Yeah. Whereas they're doing, 15 of them. And the courses are all still so excellent. But, what was your thoughts on the practice range? Did you think it was cool how many targets are out there and options?
Yeah, it would have been nice if it was flat.
I was
if you want to shoot further than 40 yards, you're gonna be winded by the time you get back to by the time you get to the target.
That hill was steep too.
It didn't look that steep, but
until you start walking up, and then you're like
deceiving. But yeah,
I'm gonna shoot the close targets.
Yeah, that's basically what I did.
Yeah, and there was a plateau, and then it got steep again. I don't think I ever shot past that, like, 60-yard plateau. I think the very first ones I did. It was, like, 70-something, and after that, I shot everything, like, 60 and in, because I didn't feel like hiking up the mountain to
It does make sense, though, that they put it on a hill that steep, because if you do miss a target, you're only going, well, in the ground. I mean, if the ground wasn't as wet as it was, arrows would have been so much easier to find. Everything was so saturated that your arrow would just freaking bury to the knot.
One of my first ones at the practice range, before I knew that I had equipment issues, I shot, like, I don't know where in relation to, somewhere right around the target. I mean, and it was at 76 yards, I think. So I was like, I know my arrow didn't go that far in this 76 yards up this hill. So, like, it's going to be somewhere right there. James walks up with me. Could not find that arrow to save my life. Never found it. And I almost guarantee, as like that one on Prime where we started digging, and it was like a trophy mine of arrows. We just kept pulling arrows out of the mud. Or the soft
almost
dirt.
$200 worth of arrows. And they were all good.
Least. So I guarantee that's also what happened to mine. It's like, it just, that ground was so moist and soft from all of the rain that they've gotten, that everything was just burying into the dirt. And I don't often have that problem with my arrows, but I think mine took a digger into that soft ground. But I was going to say, so how do you, like, your just thoughts, not, like, rating or anything like that, thoughts on, like, a shoot at this size, capacity, like, the amount that goes into setting up, 8 to 10 courses in one given area, in comparison to, like, doing local shoots, I guess, and, like, your thoughts on it, and just having participated in the whole thing in general, archery-wise.
Yeah, so they are definitely efficient with the space. I mean, I don't know how big the venue is, like the size of the mountain. Given it's a ski resort in Pennsylvania, I can't imagine it's that big, Yeah. It's pretty limited, because, I'm pretty sure that's the only freaking hill in Pennsylvania. Flying out, I thought for sure it was going to be flat land everywhere, but they found it. And they definitely utilized it, I think, the best way that they could have. Mm-hmm. I would have liked to see more technical shots. Maybe it's just because I'm such a fan of the way James sets up his course, and the way he set up Beast, dude, was like, I still am freaking talking about that to everybody that wasn't there. Like, I chop Bruce's ass all the time. Like, dude, you missed the best course. Like, you would have loved that thing. So I really like the challenging shots, but given the incident that happened, I think at the tech prior to that, I understand why they did what they did. They didn't want to. I think they ended up having to use up a lot of their real estate to make most of the targets, like the pie cuts, as we call them. Yeah. Basically pulling returns. Yeah. But not like pulling.
Well, that's a thing to remember always, is pull and returns are very safe. They're like the safest shots you can build, because you go pull and then you watch the people come past, and once they're back to their stuff, you can shoot. I prefer courses that are a walk-through trail the whole way. Like, in all of Bow Disciples Challenge, there was only one pull and return that got put in last minute. But that's what I prefer. But for safety, I understand all the pie cuts and pull and returns, because those are the safest shots. I think it also
has to just do with and this is, I think, the fun part about TAC, because there's so many of them and different terrain options. Though that is now, I think, the biggest TAC event, per the amount of people that attend, right there with Utah's. Terrain-wise, I don't think you get as much as what you get at, say, Montana's, Colorado's, or Utah's. And so those, you get a lot more technical shots, because you're like, it's either your shot goes in the target or goes in rocks, or it hits trees, or, like, I've seen windows, like, friggin' this big, like tiny. So it's fun because, you know, say you're like, oh, that one was fun, and I got a lot out of the vendor village, but I want to try something that I think the terrain would be more technical. Then the next year, like, okay, I'm going to plan to try to go to Utah's or Colorado's or whatever, because you get options. Or say you shooting those all the time and you just want to try a different state, like we did this year with going to, well, all of them, but Oklahoma's or whatever, which I was actually surprised at the amount of... they utilize technical shots and windows a lot.
Oh, yeah.
Because of the amount of trees in Oklahoma. So I thought that was... because you don't have the topography as much. You get some little hills, but nothing as far as like a mountain goes.
Scott and I were kicking the tires on maybe some of the events we want to do next year. And
it's kicking the tires, man.
Just like throwing around ideas, you know. But we both kind of agreed that Oklahoma would probably be on both our lists again.
I think so. I think that one's just a good, fun time.
He's like, honestly, it would be cool if we could even just get the same Airbnb.
Yeah. The courses were good enough that they weren't boring by any means. And I don't think there was probably a single tack out there that has boring courses because of how they choose to set up their events.
We thought this would be our last tack event of the year. But it turns out we have made a late edition of Montana.
Audible, baby.
Which, Montana is a new Montana location.
Oh, it's an All Bait Sky?
No, it's called Red Lodge. Red Lodge. And so it's a new location, so I've never been. So this will actually be my 11th different tack location I've been to.
Oh, I thought you were going to say this year. I'm like,
no, this year it'll only be 4, which is, I said I would go to 2. Every year I say, oh, this year I'm going to only do 2, and then I always end up doing like 3 or 4. Which is fine. Like, if my, like, I think it's good to have 2 planned, and then be like, well, if my schedule happens to align with any of the others and there's nothing going on, just blast out there, because why not? They're fun, good chance to mingle, meet people that support the show. Like, to me, that's important, is being able to shake paws with people that have supported the show, so what better place to do it than, a huge collection of archers, you know what I mean? It's awesome. So it was bitching, and then so we did a little vacation after.
Oh, we're still talking about tack. We can get
we're back.
Afterwards.
Okay.
You want to get into my fan, or what is it? Popping my cherry with my first fan.
Oh yeah, tell the story. This is a banger.
So
shout out to he probably watching.
Yeah, Chris.
I
don't know his Instagram, but so I'm shooting at the practice range. I think it was right after we shot our MDF. I'm like, dude, I gotta get this hinge freaking figured out. Like, I needed to get it a little bit hotter. I'm sitting there shooting, and Chris comes up to me, and as I turn around to like hang up my bow, and he goes, "Hey, dude, I saw you yesterday. I got a picture with Bree and Britt. I think he said he got a picture with you too." He goes, "But I wasn't able to get a photo with you. I really want to get a photo with you." And I'm sitting there, I'm like, range is mine. So I'm like, me? He goes, "Yeah." I'm all, "Are you sure? Like, what are you talking about?" And he goes, "With bow disciples." He was like, "Can I get a picture with you?" I'm like, "Why?" Because I'm just the dude that freaking, like, I love hopping on your videos, dude. It's so much fun.
I'm just a humble papa.
Well, I'm a shitty shooter.
I don't know that that's true, because in the playoff game, people are going to see the playoff game soon.
Yeah.
Fuck you, Brittany. Yeah. Yeah.
Are we going to sit down?
Yeah, he was like, I don't know. I guess freaking, he liked what I had to contribute to the channel.
Yeah.
I didn't know I did, but apparently I did.
Yeah,
it was pretty cool. And sat there and chatted with him for quite a while, just shooting the shit and having like a real conversation with somebody. So it was very humbling, very, very uncomfortable at first. I was like, what? I'm not James. We don't look that alike. I mean, we're both good looking, but
great.
He's way better looking.
Yeah.
But yeah, shout out to Chris. That was a cool experience. He hit me up the other day. I don't think I typed up a response, but I don't think I sent it. So I'm not ghosting you, dude. But shout out to Chris. He wants me to come do a podcast with him. Maybe like recapping the whole thing. Maybe my experience with you and whatnot. And speaking of which, like I said earlier, I was a fan of James's before I became a friend of his, and now I consider you like one of my best friends now.
You too, buddy. Look at this bonding right now. I love it.
Yeah.
A lot of times, like, you see a personality on the internet, mainly on YouTube, and they put on a persona that is very different from what they actually are, or that persona ends up getting so inflated and they get so much traction that they almost get full of themselves. And I will say, dude, who you are on camera is exactly who you are in real life. And you're a genuinely good dude. And if anybody says anything other than that, you know, we can catch these hands.
Luckily, there's only about
bodyguards now.
Luckily, there's only I appreciate the kind words. Luckily, there's probably less than 5 people that have an issue with me.
And that's not directed towards anybody particularly, but
no, I appreciate that. I mean, for me, I think that is like, I don't know. I've been doing videos for so long in my life. Like I said, I put my first video on the internet in 2007. So, I mean, I've literally been pumping out content on the internet for almost 20 years. It's a long time, you know? So for me, it's just like, I don't know. To me, it's like, I don't even think about the camera at all. I'm just like, you know, maybe I'll throw an extra joke in or something here and there or that, like, but it's like everything I do is just what I would do anyways. Like, even if I didn't have the YouTube channel, or, like, let's say I had it, but nobody watched it, I would still do the same thing. And you can go watch that I did that. You know what I mean? Because I literally went through the channel, actually, earlier today, and I was looking through old videos. And, I mean, there's a bunch of them that have, like 68 views. Like, a lot, you know? So, like, we literally were doing the same shit when nobody watched. And now the only difference is more people watch. That's the only difference.
Yeah.
I think it also has, like, being behind the camera and being a YouTube personality, it also amplifies your ability to interact with people. Makes you so much more of a people person. If you guys think that he's only high energy when the camera's on, you are dead wrong, dude. This dude will wake up, he'll friggin' tie one on harder than anybody else the night before, and then wake up in the, like, 6:30 in the morning, and just ready to go, dude. I don't know. You're the friggin' Energizer bunny on crack.
Oh, dude, people.
Yeah.
The morning so the day we had to pack and check out by 10, I was such a demon, dude, to everybody. I mean, everyone's kind of like, hey, we take our time, get packed, and I get up and I'm basically like, let's go! Joey, what's taking so long up there? Brett, where's your case? I'm just on everybody ass about going faster.
Yeah.
In hunting, Brianna can tell you, I'm an absolute menace at like 4 a.m., dude.
Dude, yeah, you and Drew are probably... I would love to see you guys in hunting camp together, dude, because, like...
They'd be looking at each other on the mountain. Who can run faster up the mountain? Do you think you could do it faster? No, I think I could do it faster. And eventually, they just both be sprinting up the mountain to see who can make it to the top first and get their glassing equipment out. Like, it would be, I think, obnoxious. I'd be back there just... You guys go on your way. I'll be there in 20 minutes or so.
Can I share a story about my elk hunt?
Oh, please do.
Dude,
please
okay,
do.
So we started in one unit, didn't have any luck. I glassed up like a herd of like probably a handful of bulls in a gang of cows, but they were across the street, and there was ranches that kind of blocked the access to them. So the only access to that herd was going up this fire road and dropping literally like almost 2,000 feet within like 100 yards. And we would have had to follow this telephone pole line. We went up, took a look at it, decided against it. So then we drove, I want to say it was like 5-6 hours to another unit. And the night that we got to that unit, we parked, I want to say around like 15,000 feet. I don't think we expected any weather. I mean, it was kind of like misting or like drizzling on and off throughout our trip out there, but nothing crazy. Well, the way we were camping, we'd pull up the truck. Drew's hunting rig's just a friggin', for how much he beats the hell out of that thing, and it just keeps going. F-150, baby. But he has canvas cutters, and his son set him up. He helped
Now,
cut
those
the truck.
that come off the side of the truck.
It's literally no. So it's almost like a bedroll, but you got your canvas shell, which is completely waterproof. Then you have your bedding pad inside of it, and then these almost like tent poles that you set up to kind of give you a little bit of a shell to sleep inside of. It's almost like sleeping in a coffin. If you're claustrophobic, I mean, just you don't zip it up all the way. But I've never experienced these things, and he had them already set up, ready to go. So I just set it up to where the bed pad was friggin' facing up. Crawled in it. Be warm. They're so freaking warm. Those things are awesome.
Basically, you're in a coffin.
Well, but the insulation that they provide, like, I don't think I even had to pull my quilt out once. But set them out, sleep on them 3 days. Great freaking night's sleep. When we get to the new unit that night, we set them up, and it just starts pouring rain. Like, we probably got like 6 inches overnight. And I'm sitting there, and dude, I shit you not, I thought I pissed myself. Because I woke up, I'm all...
Because you're sweating?
No, my ass is soaking wet. Just soaking wet. And I'm all, what the
You just
fuck?
got swamp ass.
No, dude. So his son set it up upside down. So where you zip it up, there's flaps that come over the zippers. Well, the zippers aren't waterproof. So the flaps were coming up. So all the rain that would hit the top of it would run down the sides of it and seep in through the zippers. Dude, I woke up in like the first time, and I was feeling myself. I'm like, dude, did I piss myself? I'm like, that's fucking embarrassing, you know? And I'm like sitting there smelling it, like seeing like what the fuck it is, because it's just a puddle where my ass is, because that's like the heaviest. That was the part closest to the bottom of the.
Your ass is the heaviest?
Dude, I got a donk.
God damn, that thing is thick!
But I kind of like readjust. I'm like, it's water. Maybe I spilled my water bottle or something. Fall back asleep, and then I wake up. My shoulder's soaked. My entire I'm a side sleeper, so my entire right side of my body's soaking wet. It's like 80 during the day and drops to like 30, like probably 35 at night. So it's fucking cold at night. And I'm like feeling around in the dark, get my headlamp on, like turn it on, and there's, I shit you not, like an inch or two of water inside of my canvas cutter everywhere. And I'm like,
oh no.
What the fuck, dude? I was so...
Am I sinking?
I'm like, fuck these things are shit, blah, blah, blah. Like, and it was like at 2 o'clock in the morning. And from 2 o'clock till about 4:30 when Drew wakes up, I'm sitting there just miserable, like shivering my ass off. And Drew freaking pops out of his canvas cutter and goes, all right, guys, you guys ready to go? Come on, guys, let's go. And I'm sitting there, like, I hear he's up, and I just rip it open. I'm all, fuck these things, dude. These things are bullshit, blah, blah. Like, I was all, I'm soaking wet and just miserable. And it's freezing outside, so I'm absolutely drenched. I'm in like 35-degree weather. Drew is chipper as fuck. And I am just like...
And that just makes you even more irritated.
I'm like, we were going to go out and scout our area that day. I'm all, leave the truck keys, dude. I'm sitting in the truck friggin' with the heater on. I am like borderline going to catch pneumonia right now. I go to friggin' throw my Crocs on and friggin' my Crocs are filled with water. And I'm just, dude, it was just not a good time. Well, we come to find out that the canvas cutter the shell was upside down, so all the water came in through the zippers. But I don't know how you freaking held it together, but he keeps the same type of energy you guys keep it. You guys are just so positive, and freaking that dude is an absolute freaking pack mule of a dude. Oh, he'll go and I don't, how old is he? Like 36, 38 or something like that?
Something like that, yeah.
It's like 4 or 6 years older than I am, and he's just dude, Billy Goat.
Oh, yeah.
Goes. And you wouldn't think of it, or you wouldn't think it, but yeah, great hunting partner. Very, very blessed to have been invited on that trip, even though I screwed up our only shot opportunity that we had.
It happens, man.
Yeah, it was just cool to get out there and get at least a rep in.
Oh, for sure, dude. I mean, that's what it's all about. It's just the experience. And
I could not even imagine you guys in hunting camp together. You guys would bring just the biggest vibe.
It'll have to happen one day.
Right.
So
we should plan some VTC hunt where we just go out and.
I'm in.
Yeah.
And because James loves camping so much,
I do like it.
Is it growing on you?
Yeah, a little bit.
Yeah.
Now, one thing I want to get to.
Oh.
We're past an hour.
Oh, I had some questions lined up. I'm ready.
Oh, you have questions?
Prepared. Yeah.
Okay, you get your questions. I'm going to save my thing for last.
You obviously got to, I think one of the best experiences, honestly, other than like a lot of cool different courses and so many to choose from and whatnot. Whereas like, your local shoots like the same every time, maybe a little different variation, but coolest thing is like it's basically like going to an expo, but you get to try stuff and use stuff and touch it and feel it and whatnot. What was probably your favorite booth, or you could give a top couple that you got to go see or talk to, be it either the people or the product itself, or your favorite one or two, unbiased, just you got to walk around. What was your favorite to get to see, experience, talk to, etc.?
So probably the one that I had the most rapport with, or I built the most rapport with, was probably Index, ENDEX.
Those guys are cool.
They're a nonprofit veteran support organization that, from what I gathered, they do incredible things for vets with PTSD, or just vets in general. But being a vet, my military career wasn't what I wanted it to be, but I am very supportive of the veteran community, and I just like to see small organizations like that, because that's when you know that they're the most pure and they're the most like mission focused. Jay came up freaking by the end of the trip. Would have thought we known each other for freaking years. Just a hell of a dude. Love what they do. Ended up, they had a little raffle, and it was like $5 to $100. Thank God I didn't win a bow. I probably would have given that back to him, because I just saw that they had something for like a fundraiser, and it was a raffle, and it was like $5 for a ticket, or like, I don't know, or maybe it's $20 for a ticket, and then like $6 for 100, and I had 100, so I was all, here, dude. Gave me some tickets. Ended up winning 2 raffles. I got a set of stabilizers, and the second one was a pair of sheep feet socks, which those things are great. I really like those. They're super thin, but they're definitely the temperature regulating. But yeah, that was a very good first impression of the booths. And then went over to when it started getting really cold, I needed another layer, and I saw the 2.0 booth next to the check-in. Went over there, started chit-chatting with them. They're more of like a budget-friendly hunting clothing.
Camo clothing, yeah.
Yeah, they're typically.
I love their pattern. I just wish they had female stuff.
Oh, they didn't have.
They don't have female line
at all.
Not yet. They're too new.
Yeah, they're trying to expand. So that's like they're kind of sister companies with a lot of other big name like budget companies like Scentlock. I want to say it is Scentlock or Scentblock or something like that. But I think that Section 2.0 is trying to expand or move from like the East Coast whitetail game or
their killer is great for West Coast
to out west.
Yeah.
And that's what they're basing it on.
Yeah, not a lot of bright greens and whatnot. Very tans, oranges, browns, and their camo patterns fit a lot with like the. Sometimes you just never know what he's doing. But fit a lot with the West Coast. Rocky stuff.
A lot of dry environment.
Yeah.
Whatnot. They were great. Great people over there. Marsupial was another one.
Oh, yeah.
You know,
I love Ryan.
With them being as big as they are, you'd think that they wouldn't be as personal, you know?
Yeah.
But,
they're very
because, I mean, they had people freaking in and out of their booth the entire weekend. I mean, it was one of the most frequented booths, I would say. But very cool guys. And it's nice because I get, like, the raw experience of it because you guys are well known in the industry. I am not, but being with you, I see your interactions with vendors, and then I'm able to see like the average person's interaction because that's who I am. Nobody knows me except for Chris. So it was cool to see you guys get treated one way and then go up to them, and without them knowing our affiliation, being treated the same way.
Yeah, that's
our marsupial, Beast.
Oh yeah,
Beast. I mean, dude, I can't say enough good things about Bomar. I like him and Sarah.
Both great.
I mean, that dude freaking gave me a lot of tips that helped me out with my target panic. Freaking, just a very selfless guy from what I gathered.
Always the first one, like glassing for people's arrows, watching everyone shoot, being encouraging.
I shoot the freaking target in the leg. He goes, "Great shot, man." He goes, a little love, but he's all great break, freaking awesome shot. Arrow looked good flying, dude. Sick arrow build.
You pull it up.
Anything that he can compliment you on, he'll compliment you on. He'll never say a negative thing or like kind of chap your ass at all.
Which,
no.
Isn't the vibe you would get from a dude? So when we first pulled up and I saw him from a distance, I saw him. We took a break, went to go eat. And I was all, dude, you know, Bomar doesn't look as big as he does on camera. He had a puffy on. And then we get
down a little bit.
Yeah. James is all, really?
Yeah.
So I thought he's bigger.
I was like the cracks on that man?
I was like, nah, you didn't see him freaking like out of, like he looked jacked, but I was like, I think he looks bigger on camera. And then we go back over to the booth right after, and he takes his I think he had his puffy on, or puffy off. And I saw him, and I turned to James on. I'm like, "Where's James?"
Yeah.
Don't fucking say a word about what I that dude is massive, dude. And I mean,
that was so funny, dude.
Well, dude, we're both the same freaking height, and I have had quite the cocktail of gear back in my neck.
And so
I got nowhere near as big as that dude, and it is hard to fill a freaking tall frame. Like most of those professional bodybuilders are between like 5'8" to 5'10" at the max.
That's the high end,
yeah. And
a lot of them are like 5'5".
Yeah, you never know.
Yeah.
But
no, Josh is a big dude.
Josh is a freaking massive dude and a hell of a guy. Freaking great heart.
Really good guy. I'm a big fan.
I'll go ahead and.
I know him well.
Yeah. Anyways, moving on. What would you say if, like a recap, the best thing you think you learned out of the experience, or just learned in general by attending a TAC. Yeah, like your number one takeaway.
So what I learned is that on a bow tech, your cams don't need to be buried to the right, Ernest, to tune your freaking bow. That just freaking...
No.
Your side picture doesn't need to have your keyboard involved.
Adjustment for a reason.
More than anything, like, my takeaway is, like, the most positive thing that I took away is that all the big personalities that I've been watching on YouTube that I didn't know in person or have any affiliation with, were very... I mean, everybody's just so cool in the archery community, you know?
Yeah.
I got a very raw encounter with Josh. The last day we were at the Airbnb, when he took off, he came up, gave me a big hug, told me if I ever need anything to hit him up, whatnot. And it's just nice to see people with the fame that they have be as down to earth and as humble as they are.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, I don't know everybody. I mean, James is the only one that I know very intimately.
Oh yeah, baby.
But
yeah,
first impressions and being in like very close quarters with people. I was very impressed with like how Josh was as a person. Very good dude. Dodds was an awesome dude. I've had a little bit of a tiff with them at first. He was just chapping my ass, man. I'm like, dude, I'm already freaking nervous as fuck. We don't need to add on to this. Just talking, dude. But I mean, that I love that regardless. I'm a very competitive guy. Rarely do people get in my head, but that dude got in there. Everybody's just can't say enough good things about everybody, and thank you guys for the opportunity for inviting me on the trip.
I'm glad you get to go to more of them in different locations, because I think it's just and sometimes, you know, there's different vendors and obviously different people in attendance and whatnot, and I think that is the coolest thing about it, because you take yourself out of your local environment, and a local environment is great. You always find your experts that you rely on and lean on for opinions and, you know, questions and whatnot. Yeah, your go-to people. But that's, you know, that's localized, and getting to go to a TAC, you just get to, from people like Josh, who are you know, bow shop owners as well, and knowledgeable, to like your average stranger who you might just hear something or, you know, see a setup that you're like, tell me about that, because like I wouldn't have thought of that, and then it clicks and you're like, God, that makes sense, like I'd like to try that, or whatever. You just pick up little things here and there, from be it a stranger to a professional or an influencer or an expert or whatever, that you may not see at home just because it's not something that is at home.
Yeah, a lot of things are region based, you know.
Yep.
Different people. So yeah, you do get a lot of exposure to other people's way of doing things, which is cool.
And brands that you don't like get to see here or whatever, that like are at the vendor village because they're East Coast based or whatever. And it changes based on the TAC you're at. So I think it's cool to go to different ones, and both the vendor village and the courses. Everything changes at every TAC, as well as the town itself. Like this town, you didn't have as much to go out and do, but then that changes. Like that's why Oklahoma may not be one of like the shining star TACs, but the town makes it that, because it's like you're still in this little essentially mountain town, even though it's not mountains, but such a fun vibe in the town. Everything's named, I'm gonna say again, everything's named after sex in the whole town.
In Oklahoma?
In Oklahoma.
In Broken Bow.
In Broken Bow. And
it's classic, dude.
But it's funny, and there's like, it's family friendly as well, because like you could bring your family and stay at one of the Airbnb cabins, and the family can go to, there's a petting zoo, to a bowling alley, a bunch of different restaurants, and then one of the restaurants has like actual like line dancing and in, out, upper deck, lower deck, like just so much to do in this little town. And so it's just all town dependent on, like, what experience you get out of the tack. And sometimes that makes a tack. Other times it's the event and the vendors itself that makes a tack.
I'm just so impressed. Like, I don't even know a sliver of what it takes to put on a shoot.
We had this debate. We're like, how many people do you think they
James
employ
to freaking use me? I'm like, dude, hit me up anytime. Like, I want to help. And I mean,
you did us a work party.
Yeah, but I mean, that was still. I would like to help out more if I can.
Next year,
I know it's a lot for you.
Next year, I'll put you up to it. But I wanted to. Before we're like an hour 20 right now, so this is long run time.
Yeah.
This is long run time. But before we finish, and maybe we'll do another one at some point, because I do want to do more pods before our next trip.
in 4 days.
I want to talk about Flight 93 Memorial that we went to.
Okay.
Because I was very impressed by it. I thought it was extremely well done. Very heavy, very heavy. But, like, it was beautiful at the same time. So you would, like, do that walk by that wall, and then there's the gate with the rock and the, like, flight path, and you're just walking out there, and it's, like, really pretty, but you feel this, like, weight. You feel that...
Very daunting.
You feel that something really gnarly happened.
Yeah, very tragic.
Yeah. And then, like, the visitor center, when you're walking through and seeing, all of us are at age where we remembered 9/11.
Old enough to remember.
Yeah. And, dude, a lot of those graphics were, like, really tough to look at. And then the phone calls, bro.
The phone calls?
Wow, forget about it.
Yeah. PSA there if you ever go to it.
Yeah.
If you feel too emotional at the time or already affected, do not pick up the phones.
No, I think if you're there, you need
You
to.
have
Yeah,
to.
yeah.
Because that keeps the memory of those
Oh,
people that ended up... they prevented that flight from crashing in
To
the Capitol building.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And it was only like
20 minutes out, I think.
20,
It was
30
20
minutes?
total minutes out.
Yeah.
20, 30 minutes from hitting their destination. And, they're heroes, dude.
Oh,
Those were the
dude.
first heroes of the war.
And one thing, Scott and I talked about this yesterday when we were hanging out. We were talking about the experience. And I was really impressed by the people on the phone call because they know they're going to die. Like, they know they're dying. You're either hitting the Capitol building and you're dying, or you're hitting the ground and you're dying. But you're not getting off that plane alive. And they didn't sound scared at all.
Only one.
One
ended up
seemed
breaking
a little
down.
bit shook.
Yeah,
but
at the
and all of them, and rightfully so.
Yeah,
all
dude.
started. You could tell that they were trying to keep it together, and then
Like,
they
one
just
even as
started
much
breaking
as she
down.
kept it
And
together,
I was
she
just
kept repeating, I want you to know I love you. Tell the family I love you.
my
Tell the
God.
kids I love you. She just couldn't stop repeating it.
yeah, that shit was so heavy. And I was just so impressed with how composed all the people on those phone calls were. It was very impressive. When you think about the weight of the call they're making and how kept together they were.
Well,
Unbelievable.
and how short their
Unbelievable.
voicemails were, because you'd think, like, I wouldn't want to hang up the phone.
Well, they're probably trying
but
to get more people.
They literally felt this need to get off the phone to allow everybody this chance to try to speak to a loved one.
And the one where, like, the lady gave, like, her, combo to her safe to her sister and stuff, just, like, it's heavy, because, sure, when you're on the call, you might have a thought that, like, maybe somehow we'll make it out of it, but it's like, you're not going to. Like, and that's the crazy part about it, because either scenario, the only difference is one of the scenarios more people die and there's more damage because you hit a building. The other version is the best case scenario, but everyone on the plane still dies. And everyone it was just heavy, dude.
or there's a scenario. Maybe there's a pilot on the plane that could, if they.
Oh yeah, hope.
Yeah,
but that's like some
so
freaking
unlikely. Yeah.
something
Yeah,
crazy.
but even those
Rescue
planes,
movie.
like, Yeah, I do have a book.
5,000 gallons of friggin' jet fuel.
Oh, dude, that was another thing that blew my mind. If you screw
anything up, like...
That was another thing that blew my mind was how where the plane hit, it was like a crater. There was like nothing there.
Yeah.
But then enough blew into the trees that made it. Like, that's actually, like, they found that credit card and it ended up, like, leading them to a lot of the terrorists.
That's how they tracked the payments.
Terrorist party.
Through, or the funding.
Right. But if anyone gets the opportunity, you gotta go. Like, I'm so happy that our group went and took the time to go over there. And we didn't rush. We saw every part of it. We really took our time. And it was just like...
Yeah, it's a memorial that I've heard about, obviously, numerous times through... We have a ship in the Navy named the USS Somerset. And so we send 40 sailors every year off that ship to go in September for they do a memorial there and everything, obviously. And in my mind, I was like, this is a field. Like, this, why are we sending, no joke, like, you can call me an asshole if you want, but, like, in my mind, I'm like, we are spending boatloads of money. Because you got to think you have to house every sailor's plane, every sailor's food, and then a vehicle per every X amount of sailors. It adds up real fast when you check the tracker. And you're like, why? There are so many ships applying for outreach funding. Why are we sending 40 sailors to go to this memorial every single year? Like, why don't we give some other ships some opportunity and spread that funding out? And then, like, it doesn't even, like, it doesn't click in your mind until you go there and you realize, like, there's a reason to send 40. Yeah. There were 40 heroes that day, the very first
heroes 40. Of the war against terror.
So it's a memorial in just the idea that we send 40 sailors as well. And it ends up being a little bit more because you've got some officers and whatnot going in attendance as well. It's like some civilian contractors and things. But there are 40 sailors attending, and when you go to the memorial, you don't understand until you realize why the number is 40 and why we continue to send that amount every single year, regardless of the cost that it takes. And so, like, sometimes if you think the military's dumping money on stupid things, just remember there's a reason why we're dumping money on something that you think is, like, frugal or non-frugal spending. Yeah, sometimes, but it was eye-opening to see, like, it was something that I had funded sailors to go to for years. I had helped organize their trip for it, but never actually, like, experienced it. I was just the person on the back end, you know, setting up their travel cost and everything. And then you get to actually go to this thing that you have, you know, organized for years, and see it, and it is something else. It definitely makes you, like, regardless of your job, whether a reservist or just doing public affairs, like, whatever your job is, it definitely makes you, like, just weirdly feel this, like, bigger sense of pride in what you've you've done.
And regardless, like, of your opinions on 9/11, like, I dabble in the conspiracy theories, but regardless, there were still 40 people, 40 Americans that lost their life on that plane, doing what they thought was right. So,
well, and not to mention, too, like, there's a lot of, first of all, it's a good thing that they stopped the plane from getting to the Capitol building, but also when you see the plane map of the seating, it was, like, almost empty. So that's a blessing, too.
Yeah, it was like a quarter full.
Yeah, maybe a quarter. So thank God it wasn't a packed flight. That'd be even worse. I mean, obviously, it still was super tragic, but given all the stuff, like, it was, you know, it went pretty well. I mean, really well for the circumstances, you know, but yeah, that was my favorite part about the trip. And then, I mean, the Pirates game was awesome, too. PNC Park is beautiful,
like
dude.
And Skeens is a freaking stud.
Dude, can you imagine pitching 8 innings, giving up 1 earned run, and getting the loss?
For a pile of garbage.
Bro, his ERA, I think his ERA now is, like, almost...
It's almost 2.18.
It's almost sub 2, because he's had 2 starts since where he's given up, like, no runs.
Dude, I mean...
He's gonna win the Cy Young unless not, like, he gets some blow-ups.
Yeah. But imagine if he was like on the Dodgers, because he's probably going to end up going to the Dodgers
for sure.
I mean, I still
wish
that he would go to the Padres, but
he'll be traded to the Dodgers within 2 years. I bet.
Like, what a fucking bummer, dude. Like the only thing worse could have been going to the Rockies, but
the Rockies are bad.
What I mean, but still, like even like not being with all the teams go through their phases and whatnot. I mean, we're the freaking Padre fans. We've had our fair share of that for sure.
Yeah.
But even being with a team that's definitely not at the caliber you are and still giving your best, I mean, that dude was a freaking stud. Pitched 8 innings, gave up 1 run. What was this?
Solo shot.
Yeah.
Solo shot. So, yeah, I mean, overall, great trip. Glad, Joey, you were able to come for your first tack, and we were able to kind of do a little vacation with everybody. That was awesome. And, yeah, I think that'll wrap up this pod. But
I think that'll be Ceci's
But it's been a pleasure, ma'am. Thank you very much for your contributions, Joey. Thank you, sir. Thank you, buddy Halby. Thank you, pal. And
he's been my boy.
Be sure to, this podcast is sponsored by podiumarcher.com, so be sure to use code PUMPSTATION to save, I believe it's 10% website-wide pretty much, so that's cool. And subscribe to the podcast channel, and we'll see you in the next one. Appreciate y'all.